We're talking about this series, and we're calling it Lifeless, because all of us know what it is to have a life but not really have a life. And so we're going to try to give some encouragement, kind of pulling stuff together. And so today we're going to talk about risk and wisdom. Everybody say risk and say wisdom. So they kind of go hand in hand. So I'm sure that every one of us have met somebody that has no wisdom at all. Anybody met somebody that has no wisdom at all? They say stuff or do stuff, and you're like, no, really. You didn't really. So I found this, and I thought it was kind of hilarious, some no wisdom kind of stuff. So this guy bought a new fridge for his house. So he takes his old fridge, and he puts it out in front of his house, and he puts a sign out that says, free to a good home. It sat there for 3 days. No takers. So on the fourth day, he put a sign out that said $50. Somebody stole it that night. This lady, she worked for a 24/7 call center. So a caller called and said, what are the hours of your operation? She said, well, since you called the 24/7 call center, we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So she said, oh, is that Pacific or Eastern? Wanting to end the conversation, she said, Pacific. You can't even make this stuff up. A guy's sister, she has a life-saving tool in her car. The kind where it cuts the seat belt and breaks the window out. She keeps it in her trunk. Wisdom. Two guys stocking up on soda pop. They saw that they were 10% off, so they got 2 cases instead of 1. They got to the register, and the guy checking them out noticed that they were 10% off. So he did 10% twice and gave them 20% discount. Now here's the sad part. Some of you are still trying to do the math. One of my favorites, this guy's hanging out with his buddy, and he notices a girl. She's got a nose ring and an earring and a chain connecting the two. So the one guy says, well, wouldn't the chain pull out when she turns her head? So he had to explain to his friend that the ear and the nose actually turn on the same head. A guy in the airport, his baggage was missing, so he went to the baggage claim and talked to the lady there and told him that the luggage wasn't there, and she said, so he's filing his baggage claim. She assured him that she was a trained professional, and then she said, has your plane arrived yet? Yeah. Last one. Lady's working in a pizza parlor. Guy comes up and orders a small pizza by himself. She said, would you like me to cut the pizza into 4 slices or 6? He thinks for a moment and says, make it 4. I don't think I could eat 6. So, now I'm not making this stuff up. It's true. Because some people don't have any wisdom at all. So now, I've been known to be wise occasionally. But I've also been known to be foolish often. Mostly because I'm male. You guys get it, right? And so what? Now pretty much, here's the thing, is foolishness is often discovered at the tail end when somebody doesn't consider risk and cost. Isn't that how it works? When you didn't consider the cost, you didn't consider the risk, when it's all said and done, you ended up being the fool. That's how it works, right? So now pretty much every area in our life has some kind of risk. If you're going to be in a relationship, there's a risk to relationships. In a work environment, there's a risk in a work environment. Even in education, there's a risk. Caring about family, risky business, right? Because so every area in life, there's some kind of a risk involved. So it's wise to calculate the risk before you step out. That's what Jesus said it this way in Luke chapter 14, verse 28. He says, a wise man before he builds considers the cost. Okay? So we're talking about that a little bit. Now, there's a peculiar metaphor in the scripture, and I just want to kind of bring this out. And that peculiar metaphor, talking about this, it talks about a yoke. Everybody say yoke. Nothing to do with Easter, nothing to do with eggs. A yoke. How many of you guys know what a yoke is? Right? Now, so this kind of represents a yoke, and so what they would do, they would have a couple of farm animals, and they would yoke them together. So one head would go here, the other head here, and that helped them to work in unison. So the concept is, whatever you are yoked up with, that affects your behavior, your decisions, and your thinking. You guys get me? Okay. And so they would yoke 2 oxen together so the oxen could pull in unison. They would yoke two horses together so the horses could pull in unison. You guys understand? I mean, everybody here has probably seen a couple donkeys yoked together. Matter of fact, you were probably one of the donkeys at one particular point, right? So we know, we understand. So here's the concept is, I was going to get it. Just so you know, I've been doing this alone for a while. But anyway, so for most of us, we're thinking about this being yoked together. So when it's wise to be yoked together or to partner with people on the same mission. So it's wise to be yoked with the wise. And if you partner with or get yoked up with fools, then, well, foolish stuff just kind of happens. Right? You get that. So that's basically the concept. Now, life is punctuated with moments of greatness. Anybody have these great moments where things are like, it's awesome? But life is always also punctuated with moments of embarrassment. Anybody have some embarrassing stories? If some of this stuff were happening, you're like, oh my God, this is just terrible. So we could all tell like dozens of stories. We got this kind of stuff. So one of my stories, and I've already shared that when I was a freshman in high school, I was a very small boy. Very small, 14 years old, 4'10", 95 pounds, saw the inside of every trash can in high school. It was just kind of the thing. So one day we were all lined up in gym class. Did they still do gym class? Okay, just wonder. So we're in gym class, and today was trampoline day. Now, maybe not a big deal for these times, but back then, trampoline day, that was a big deal. That was rare. I had never in my life ever been on a trampoline, ever. And I'm 4'10", 95 pounds, never been on a trampoline, and I'm going to take this miniature little body and hurl it up into the air multiple feet and land on these 2 little spindly things I called legs. They look like 2 straws hanging from an empty paper cup. Think about gym shorts, skinny little boy, couldn't you imagine? It looked like, And so I was nervous about this, so we're all lined up waiting for the thing. And so when it was my turn, so we started with the basics, just easy stuff. So first you jump up and down. Then you jump forward, and you jump backward. Then you jump from your feet to your knees, and then from your knees to your butt. And then the last one was you had to do a forward flip. That's where things went horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. Gym class. So I overshot my landing by a really, really long ways. Completely missed the trampoline. Completely. And you say, well, trampoline. No. I missed the trampoline. See, in those days, you didn't have a net around the trampoline. Why bother with that when you have a good, hard gym floor? Completely missed the trampoline. I mean, we didn't even wear seatbelts. We had mom. Right, you guys know? We would take the pickup because it would seat more people. Y'all sit down back there. We'll count you when we get there. Nobody ever thought about a bike helmet. If you wore a helmet riding your bike, they would throw rocks at you. So I completely missed the landing, missed the trampoline completely. But fortunately and unfortunately, I landed in the arms of the gym coach. 4'10", 95 pounds. And it wasn't so much that I missed, it wasn't so much where I landed, it was how I landed that was so embarrassing. Yeah, it gets worse, it does. Because when he caught me, I threw my arms around him like a baby monkey clinging to his mom. Meanwhile, letting out a pubescent little girl kind of scream. And all the other boys started laughing hard. Some of them actually fell on the floor laughing so hard. And the coach said, "You're done." So I wish he hadn't caught me that day, but of course I'm glad that he did, otherwise it would have been a terrible injury. But it was really embarrassing. But the experience taught me risk. And risk is where we get wisdom. You still with me? You see where I'm going with this? Okay? And so now what happens, the coach wasn't there because I was going to jump off the trampoline into his arms and wrap my arms around him like a baby monkey clinging to his mom and let out a little girl scream. That's not why he was there. He was there just in case I missed and wrapped around him like a little monkey and screamed. See, now where we go wrong is when we take the risk because the coach is there to catch us. That, my friends, that's foolish. Taking risks that you know are risky, expecting somebody else to absorb the cost. You still with me, right? Now we've all been in places where we survive dumb stuff. Anybody ever survived dumb stuff? See, sometimes the reason you survived is just because you're lucky. Really. Sometimes you survive because somebody bailed you out. Sometimes we survive because of divine intervention. But here's what I want you to get. I want you to remember this, okay? Now, it's the last one, divine intervention. God gets blamed for saving us sometimes when, do you really think God is always going to catch you when you make dumb decisions? You see? So hang on to that for just a little bit, okay? So now we experience life, the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the good times, bad times, comforts and discomforts. So we gain wisdom along the way, or at least we should. And if we don't gain wisdom, what happens is we gain fear or torment or resentment or bitterness. That really depends on what you're yoked to, right? Okay, so Proverbs chapter 20, verse 29 gives us great insight into this wisdom thing. I love this. I love the way to put this. There's a New Living Translation. It says, "The glory of the young is their strength." Let's give it up for the young people. They're strong. Okay? Favorite part of my verse is the second part of this verse. The gray hair of experience. Don't that sound cool? The gray hair of experience is the splendor of the old. Yeah. Let's give it up for the old farts. Yeah, you know. So here's the Dave version of this scripture. When you're young, you're strong enough that stupid doesn't always kill you. When you're old, you're pretty sure it will. Okay, so that's getting, so now that's actually the definition of maturity. That really is. So if we were trying to nail down the definition of maturity and here's when it happens, so we would come up with like these ages that are all over the map because it really depends on responsibility and discipline, and you know that plays a huge role. And so some people that are very wise well beyond their years, and there's some people that have a whole lot of years and like no wisdom at all, right? It seems like they're always making decisions that cost the world around them. It's like, dude, come on. How many of you guys know somebody that as they get up in years, they don't get better? Come on, you know. I mean, look at somebody across from you and go, yeah, you're the one. You're who you're talking about, right? So what happens is, see, that's the temptation. So here's what it says in Matthew chapter 4, verse 5. Now, we talked last week about how he challenged Christ's identity to turn stones into bread. Well, here's the second temptation. Kind of the same thing. He challenged him, if you're the Son of God. But here's what it says in verse 5 of chapter 4 of the 4th chapter of Matthew. It says, "Then the devil took him into the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. 'If you are the Son of God,' he said, 'throw yourself down.'" Now that in and of itself is foolish, right? I don't think there's a person in this room that would get on top of this building and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw myself off of this building. It's just crazy. So throw yourself down. He said, "Throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, that they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." So here's the deal. Temptation asked us to do foolish or take foolish risks that oftentimes other people have to absorb the cost. And we don't learn the full lesson of it because somebody is absorbing the cost. Okay? So now there's lots of people that have felt their frustration because somebody else made a foolish decision and you had to pick up the pieces. Anybody else in the room know what I'm talking about? Somebody else made a dumb decision, did some stuff, and it's like, really? Come on, man. And there's plenty of people in this room where you've made foolish decisions and you realize it hurt the people around you. So this is a very real temptation. This is right up there. So the marks of adolescence or immaturity is people that they really lack appreciation for the risk and cost, the human cost of people when we make bad decisions, okay? So not realizing that somewhere down the road, somebody's got to pay. Like all these politicians that everybody promising free stuff, there's no such thing as free stuff. All the free stuff is somebody else's stuff. You can rob your neighbor and get a bunch of free stuff, but it's not free stuff, it's his stuff, right? So here's what I'm saying, there's always a cost that shows up. You might show up to church in a really nice car, but next month, guess what? It's not free stuff. There's a payment shows up in the mail, that kind of thing, right? Okay, so now when we're talking about adolescence, our current culture is facing a crisis of extended adolescence. See, adolescence normally is that period from like 13 to 18, and so when they turn 18, they're older. I was going to say adult, but I'm changing that. But see, so our current culture, now this is the fact, you can check this out. Our current culture, that adolescence extended into the 20s, even the 30s, before they step out. Matter of fact, psychologists literally have a name for this. They call it the Peter Pan syndrome. No, for sure, I'm not making this up. The psychologists call it the Peter Pan syndrome. So you guys know the story of Peter Pan, not the peanut butter, the character. And so Peter Pan is stuck between the man that he's afraid to be and the boy he can no longer be. Because here's the thing. Becoming mature is a scary thing. Stepping out, taking care of yourself, being responsible for you is a scary thing. So we miss that because we're afraid to be that. So we're stuck in adolescence. Is this starting to make sense? Right? So what happens is that's where Matthew chapter 4, verse 6, that's where the devil was trying to get Jesus to take foolish risks so that somebody else would absorb the cost. So those are the risks that we depend on the gym coach to catch us, right? Okay, so now adolescence is expected out of the young. So they weigh the risk and say, hey, it's worth it. I have nothing to lose. They're right, they have nothing to lose. You know why they have nothing to lose? Because they have nothing. You live with your mama. You don't have a driver's license. She cleans your room, does your laundry, buys your groceries, writes your name in your underwear. And you're 34. Sounds bad when I say it, huh? Okay, so, but see, it's when you mature, you realize that there's more at stake than that. Last year, I was playing with Zeke, my grandson, and he was just over 2, and I had this little above-ground pool in the backyard, and I hear him yell, "Papa!" And I turn around, and he's in the air. Okay? The risk didn't bother him because he had nothing to lose, because he knew I would catch him. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so adolescence lives in the day, but maturity reaches out a little bit further. So now, here's what I want you to get. If Jesus had have called the angels to catch him, and he could have, sometimes what happens is when we make those decisions, those foolish decisions that cost other people, it becomes our go-to. It becomes what we normally do. It becomes our response as we get going. Then when he got to the Garden of Gethsemane, when it was really, really hard, he would have called the angels. And if he would have called the angels to rescue him from Gethsemane, where he said, "Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass me," if they would have rescued him from Gethsemane, there would have been no Golgotha. If there had been no Golgotha, there would have been no garden tomb. Had there been no garden tomb, there'd be no resurrection. Without a resurrection, my friends, we are lost. See, here's what I'm saying for you and I. Sometimes adolescence actually prevents what God really has planned for our lives, right? So Jesus wasn't simply looking down from the highest point in the temple. He was looking beyond to the lowest point in our lives, saying, I need to do this so that they can do that. There's more at stake, okay? So it takes a lot of maturity to be willing to walk through the valley rather than just trying to get out of the valley, okay? So adolescence is marked by 3 short-sighted characteristics. Real quick, I'm not going to take long, but 3 short-sighted characteristics. Okay? Number 1, adolescence is marked by instability when things get tough. Okay? When things get tough, the people that are immature want to quit and go home. It happens, right? So when things get difficult, they say, I don't know, this is harder than I thought, this will take longer than I thought, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, and they want to quit and go home. Number 2, adolescents show irresponsibility when the world gets appealing. Here's how this works. See, sometimes when you're immature and you see shiny stuff, everybody say shiny stuff. You got a girlfriend until a shiny girl walks by. You're committed to this guy until another guy says shiny stuff. You're doing really, really good until somebody shows up with a bag of shiny stuff. Come on now, you know what I'm talking about. See, so when you're immature, you're irresponsible when the world outside gets appealing, okay? Easily distracted. And number 3, the adolescents demonstrate insensitivity when their will is challenged. When things don't go their way, they get all butthurt. And if that offends you, I'm just going to say, in the name of Jesus. Okay? See, when things don't go their way, they get upset. Now, I don't know about you, but I had my name all over this one. Anybody get upset when things don't go your way? Come on. I'll point you out. I don't care. Right? Okay? All right, so here, I want to encourage you. So if you're struggling with any of these areas, so if you're struggling with instability because things are hard, if you're struggling with irresponsibility because there's things that are getting your attention, if you're struggling with getting your feelings hurt because things aren't going your way, here's some encouragement for you. So number 1, if you're feeling restless and you want to quit, consider the benefits of faithfulness. I talked to a dentist in town, a young girl. She was in her late 20s. And she said, if I could tell teenagers anything today, it would be, if you will work hard for 8 to 10 years, you will never have to work hard again for the rest of your life. Okay? So consider the benefits of faithfulness. Number 2, when you're distracted by other things, shiny things. Everybody say it again, shiny things. Okay? Think of the cost of walking away. Do you really want to lose everything that you've already worked for? Okay? Because it's always way harder to start over than it is to fix something. And number 3, if you're having a hard time because things aren't going your way, consider the fact that God has a plan for your life and God is in charge and He's ordering your steps and He is going to get you through to where you need to get to, even if you got to go through what it is that you're going through. So you see what I'm talking about? So it's time for the gym coach to be able to walk away. It's time for us to grow in that. So temptation shows up in times when we're wrestling with disappointment and frustration. And see, that's when we're tempted to take foolish risk. So those are the times when we're driven by fleeting emotions or flaming passions. Here's the encouragement I will give to you. This might be maybe the smartest thing you've heard all day. If the emotions are high and the passion is burning, tell yourself, I'm going to pray about this for one day. I'm going to pray about this for one day, 24 hours. And if it's still just important tomorrow, okay. You give yourself a chance for those emotions. How many of you guys know you can get yourself all worked up? Anybody get themselves worked up? Come on now, so this, again, I'm going to wrap myself out. I'm in a hurry, so I go through Starbucks. So again, I've not been known to be wise all the time. And so when I pull through, there's only one car making an order and nobody in front of them. Jesus is on the throne. Now, I've been through Starbucks enough to know that if they're at the window ordering for a really long time, so their order took probably 4 minutes. That's complicated. So when they pull to the window, you see the Starbucks person, they hang out the window and they have a conversation. no money or drinks or anything changes hands, this is not a good sign. It just took forever, right? So anyway, I was feeling emotional, kind of, you know. But I had to practice this. It's okay. Pray about this for a while. Before you give them the horn of encouragement. You guys know the horn of encouragement, right? Okay, so this works anyway. So you step back and you tell yourself, I need to pray about this for a while. So you know, there aren't many things that you have to do right now. There's not many, really. Now, if you jumped out of an airplane with a parachute, you should pull the cord right now. That's important, okay? If you've been in an accident and you're bleeding out, you should go to the hospital like right now. If your toddler is heading for the electrical outlet with a fork, you should do something like right now. Your parents say, well, you know, I don't want to yell at them. You know, I want to be the nice parent. If they're heading for the outlet with a fork, I'm pretty sure you're going to yell, right? So here's what I'm saying. So you don't have to buy that right now. You don't have to give in right now. You don't have to make that decision right now. You don't have to react right now. So you give yourself some time. So if you find yourself in a place where you want to jump, where you want to take the step, I want to encourage you to take 5 steps back from the edge. Here's your 5 steps. And if you're taking notes, write this down. This is really important, especially when the emotions are high. Anybody know what to talk about? If you ever get yourself worked up, I know that this never happens, but just in case, right? Step number 1, speak life to yourself. Remind yourself of the good God is doing. Remind yourself of the promises that you have. Remind yourself of the future. Speak life to yourself. Number 2, be spiritually intentional. Move forward spiritually on purpose. Do something about your prayer life. Do something about your devotional life. Something crazy like go to church a lot. I mean, be spiritually intentional on purpose. Number 3, insert yourself into the fabric of other new lifers. Small groups, serving teams, whatever it is. Insert yourself. So when you surround yourself with other people on the same mission, when you're falling down, they'll catch you. See, let me throw this out there. This is just, it's kind of clever, but if you are the lone wolf, when it's all said and done, we call it roadkill. Okay? Just so you know, right? Just throw that out there, okay? And number 4, think long term. Think long term. And the last one is you own your own thoughts and actions. That's 5 steps back. Okay, so now remember when I said that when you take a foolish risk and expecting God to catch you, that's probably not a good idea. Here's the truth that maybe you really need to hear. The angels won't catch you. They won't. The angels won't catch you. When you take a foolish risk, a lot of times you really, really get hurt when you risk what you shouldn't because you haven't really calculated the risk. Okay? So you probably won't win the lottery. I know, I hurt your feelings. Publishers Clearinghouse, you're not the guy. You probably won't hit it big with the rent money at the casino. I'm your friend. You'll probably get caught. You'll probably get fired. I'm talking about risk. Okay? You'll probably relapse. Really, you guys need to hear this. You'll probably get hurt. And you'll probably wreck your life. God will get the blame. The people that love you will have to pick up the pieces. And you'll be crushed. I'm your friend. By the way, the angels actually did show up, but after the victory, not after the surrender. The angel will show up when you've fought off the temptation and declared victory. That's when they show up to encourage and strengthen and minister to you. My friend, here's what I'm saying. It depends on what yoke you have wrapped around your neck. That's the team you're going to roll with. If things are hard, you're probably connected to the wrong spot in your life. When we've been hurt, when we're angry, when we're tired, and when we're lonely, that's where the tempter comes. Do not risk the chapter that God is writing in your life today by trying to relive an old chapter in your life that doesn't make sense anymore. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9 puts it so well. Don't get tired of doing good, because in due season you will reap a great harvest if you don't give up. Your season, my friend, is coming. Hang in there. Trust God and wait. And while you're waiting, I want to give you a promise to stand on. Jesus said this in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, 29. He said, "Come to me, all of you that labor and are heavy laden, heavy burdened." Anybody feel like it's hard? Anybody feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? Jesus said, "Come to me, and I'll give you rest for your soul." That is incredible. I want to unpack that for just a little bit. Rest for your soul. See, sometimes there's a tired that sleep won't fix. Sometimes there's a tired that the weekend off is not going to help. Sometimes there's a tired where you can watch the sun come up and go down at the beach 15 times and it's not going to help. Why? Because you're not tired on the outside, you're tired on the inside. That's soul tired. And Jesus said, when you're soul tired, when you're wore out on the inside, let me come into there and I will give you rest on the inside so you'll be empowered on the outside. You get what I'm talking about? And that's where he said this. He said, "Take my yoke upon you." For my yoke is easy. Everybody say easy. What a cool word. I love that word. Anybody like that word? Everybody say it again, say easy. Don't that like make you smile on the inside? I hate it when Loretta comes to me, she goes, "Okay, we're going to do this, it's going to be hard." Oh. Does it involve shopping? Good. My yoke, when you partner, Jesus said, when you partner with me, when you yoke together with me, because He is my strength, He makes it easy. And His burden is light. See, when things are hard, you got to examine yourself. What am I connected to in life that's hard? See, sometimes you're connected to relationships that are jacking you up. Come on, you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you're trying to force something to change that ain't going to change, and boy, is it wearing you out. Sometimes you dealt with so much drama, so much turmoil, so many crazy things. You're exhausted on the inside. Am I getting through to you guys a little bit? Here's what I'm saying. It's time to take that yoke off and put His on. That's what I'm talking about. So His burden is easy. His yoke is easy. His burden is light. Rest for your soul. Get yoked up with Him. I'm going to finish with the story, and some of you guys have heard this, so if you have, just act like you haven't. Humor me. In the 5th grade, my first year ever playing Little League Baseball. Everybody play Little League Baseball? Never played before, ever. The closest I got was playing catch with my dad. And that was in between beers, so I didn't get a whole lot. So I get on this Little League team. We're called the Astros. Are there any Astro fans? Yeah, see, that was just like our team. Never played before, so the coach says, "Okay, you're going to be catcher." I don't know what a catcher does. It's my first year. What's a catcher do? Well, you put on a turtle costume. You guys know the turtle costume? Catcher. It's baseball. It's a hard ball. So when a pitcher throws the ball, you have to catch it in this like gigantic leather mitt. I mean, this leather mitt's like this and my head's like this. And I got on the turtle costume. What's the turtle costume for? Because you're not going to catch it. And so I said, that's it? Well, there's more. So when a guy's coming from third to home, we're going to throw you the ball, and you block the plate and tag him out. How easy is that? About the third game in, I'm catching the ball. I'm getting better at it. So I look up, and there's a guy running around third, and the shortstop throws me the ball. I'm catcher. And it pops in my glove, and he's still like 5 steps away. So I'm going to do what my coach said. I'm going to block the plate, and I'm going to tag him. Now, that's what my coach told me. What I didn't know is what his coach told him. Because my coach told me, tag him. His coach told him, kill him. Right? Come on, are you baseball fans? You know what I'm talking about. Take him out. If he's in your way, get him out of the way. I'm going to tag him. He mowed me down like a squirrel on the road. Just laid me out. I'm laying there on my back in my turtle costume. And I still haven't figured this out, but I'm still doing this with my hand in the glove. There's no ball. I don't even know where the ball is. But I'm laying on my back in my turtle costume. And I'm dead. The coach told me to tag him. I tried to tag him, but his coach told him to kill him, and he killed me. I'm laying in the dirt on my back, and I'm dead. I lay there for a while, waiting for the coach to come out, and the coach never came out. I'm laying there. It probably was just a few seconds, but it felt like about 7 or 8 minutes. Finally, I look up, and my dad is standing above me. He'd gotten out of the stands and walked out of the field. My father. And he said, get up. I can't, Dad. I'm dead. I know you're new to this, but dead boys can't get up. Get up. But Dad, I'm hurt. I know you're hurt. Get up. I can't. Yes, you can. Get up. Dad, I don't want to play anymore. It hurts too much. I can't do this. It's too hard. He said, this is what you signed up to do. You, boy, you're going to get yourself back up off the ground. You're going to dust yourself off. You're going to put your glove back on. You're going to stand there in your turtle costume. And you, my boy, are going to finish the game because that's what you signed up. So get in there and finish what you started. I'm not going to let you quit. Here's what I'm saying for you and I. If life has knocked you down, you feel like you're dying, you feel like you can't take it, you're laying there on your back in your turtle costume and you feel like you can't do it, your Father is standing over top of you saying, you, my friend, get up off your back, get back to your feet, finish this game. Why? Because God knows you are going to win the game. Turn to somebody and tell them, get up. Now, just for some fun, just say, shut up, you sissy, you get up. As much as it hurt, as deeply as I was embarrassed and shamed, as hard as I thought it was, I got up, I adjusted my turtle costume, and I got behind the plate, and I finished the game. I don't know how bad you've been hurt. I don't know what knocked you down. I know that some of you don't want to finish the game. But could I encourage you to rise up? Dust yourself off. Adjust your turtle costume. And get back behind the plate and finish this. Because if God is for us, who can be against us? Could I get you to bow your heads and close your eyes for just a moment, please? Come on, friends. Come on, friends. It's time for victory. It's time to celebrate. Don't wait for the final score. It's time to celebrate because you know you've already won. The battle belongs to the Lord. He's already fought it for you. He's already handed you the victory. You, my friend, are more than conquerors through Christ Jesus. So if you're sitting in this room today and something has happened where it's knocked you down and you don't feel like you want to play anymore, something's happened and you feel so deeply hurt that you don't want to play anymore. You don't think you can finish. If you feel like I've been talking to you today, could I get you to just slip your hand up real quick and right back down? Just real quick. Thank you. Thank you. Come on. Stick it up there high. Stick it up there high. Come on. Thank you. It's relationships. It's work environment. It's personal failures. It's people that have done you wrong. It's lies that have been told about you. It's rumors that you've heard. It's things that go on. It's disappointments in people. It's broken relationships. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you feel like you've been knocked down and you need to get back up, show me a hand real quick. Say, Pastor, that's me. I need to stand back up. I need to get back on my feet and finish this game. Anybody else? Come on, show me a hand. Real high, real high, real high. Could I get you to stand to your feet today, please? Hey, let's do this. Let's do this. When you stand up, try this. Do this. Oh, come on, man. Come on. I see some of you guys, you just went. Come on, Javi, you ready? I'm going to dust myself off. I'm adjusting my turtle costume. I'm getting back behind the plate, so throw me that ball. We are going to win this game once and for all. I might be down, but I'm not out. So right now, it's time to gang up on the other team, right? Here's what we get to do as Christians. This is hilarious. I love this. You need to go on the ball field. Each team has 9 players. You get 200. If you can't win with 200, you probably should get off the trampoline. You know? So we want a chance to pray with you and to encourage you, to help you. Okay? So I feel passionate about this talk today. I'm living this. Because there's stuff that'll catch you off guard. And yes, you will get knocked down. It happens. I used to think I'll get to the place where I won't ever get knocked down. I'm a grown-up now. Still happens. But here's what I know. I know that I'm just not a knockdowner. I'm a get-back-upper. Okay? Any get-back-uppers in the house? You know, and if you're a school teacher, I do this all the time. Just work with it, okay? I make up words, okay? But be encouraged, my friend. So we're going to have Pastor